All right, thank you everyone. My name is Charlene, and I'm a user researcher in ByteDance. And so today I'm going to share with you how you can actually quickly learn about your users, the very people who are using your products. Right, so a little bit about myself first. I have 12 years of experience. Actually, I did the slides last year, so now 12 years. And my first 8 years was in Procter & Gamble, where I have done things like skincare research and sensory research. So the core of that is actually to kind of distill down what users really want in their products, and then translating that into technical know-hows and making sure that working with our experts in the company to come and prototype and formulate and build it and scale it up and launch in the market. And then 2 years plus of my career was also in Ninja Van. You would know of that red little ninja if you have received parcels in Singapore before. And what I did there was to really work on strategic research to uncover the truths behind the merchants' behaviors and the buyers' behaviors, and as well as improving the customer experience and research ops. So that was where I had a lot of chances talking to a wide crowd as well, especially to the tech. Okay, and then now I'm in ByteDance and really improving the payment experience for users all over the world, and really making sense of the data from different places and merging that with the market and business needs, as well as understanding our users today. Okay, so why am I talking about this topic, right? Understanding our users. So as a developer, you might spend a lot of time building products, but do you know why some of them are successful, revenue-generating products, and some just don't, right? Why did some actually fail? So there are many ideas. You might have a lot of ideas that you want to do as your side projects, but which one is worth trying? And it's really tempting, I know, right, that you want to go and build something straight away and then find the users for it. But it's really kind of like shooting in the dark for that, because you don't know whether you are building something and then finding out later on that there's no real users who have that need for that. So it is actually much easier to, and more strategic actually, to build something after we have defined our target users first, after we seek to understand them, and then build something that they actually need. Right, because when users actually want to use your products, then your adoption rates will go up. And if they are hooked onto your products and want to continue using it again and again, then you have your retention rates naturally going up as well. So if these two are the metrics that you have, and these are the metrics that are very important for product teams that they would normally look at. Okay, so what makes a good product idea? I have a triangle over here to illustrate that. First, being customer focused. That means it should solve a user problem, and it should improve someone's lives. It should also deliver an element of delight, which sometimes you might hear of that delighter, right? For example, if you're thirsty, you can choose to drink plain water, right? Or you can choose to drink bubble tea, right? I like bubble tea myself, and so it kind of like delivers this delight to it, where you want to keep coming back again and again for that. It not only focused on the customer, it should also have a market need. It should actually have a unique value proposition as well, and that actually helps your products to stand out in the market. All right, so the difference between being user-focused and customer-focused versus a market need is that user needs are based on behaviors, on whether your users are using certain products today or using something else as an alternative. Whereas for market need, it's more like referring to a more macro perspective on things, where we consider the market saturation, market share of certain products and brands, or whether the market itself is already saturated at the moment with different competitors. So If you are looking to improve the current product for your current users, then it's easy because you can go out there and just test with them and see what they kind of react to your products. But if, let's say, your product idea is something really, really new, right? Very, very new. So if you don't have any users yet, what do? Right? And how do you know if, let's say, your current users are interested in your new idea as well? So today, we are going to share some steps here on how you can do that. Right, but before that, just remember that, yeah, maybe you're not a researcher or something, but it's good, you know, no matter what situation you're in, then just try and participate and do some research. This is something that was quoted by Erica Hall, a very famous author of Just Enough Research. Yeah, this book itself is very helpful for different people who wants to understand research. Right, so you can still learn from users no matter what. And I think you would have seen this before, some of you guys. This is like the product design cycle where you start with discovery and it ends with deliver. And so the core of discovery is really to understand your users rapidly and to define the problem space and define the problems that you want to solve for them. And also, this part here is for you to gain the initial traction if you're alone, right, on this product idea. By gaining pieces of data, you can use that to influence other people and to get them on your team. Or if you already have a product team and you want someone to buy into the idea, then that's what you can do to get that pieces of data that would convince other people to be part of that idea. So let's focus today on discovery, and that's where you can learn about your users very quickly. Okay, so there are many things that you can do in discovery, but here are some easier things that you can start trying with. Essentially, these would help you to understand the problem space, as I was saying just now, to define the right problem to solve, and as you're going around those sections, you can define your target users and see if you need to tweak or find other target users as well. Now let's start with the first one, historical data. Okay, so first you can do some desktop research to see if there were past research data, reports, publications, articles out there, things that is available from an internal or external site to help form an initial point of view. And essentially, research really takes a long time, a lot of effort as well. But if, let's say, there were things that are already available, say, for example, if you know of some researchers where they have like repositories where they store all their past research, then you can ask them for that and just look at the past reports, and it would really help you understanding your users from there. Or if, let's say, there isn't any researchers or any designers who have done any research and all that, so what you can do is to look for different people who are the regulars who face the users on a daily basis, right? The first one would be customer service, and they would be receiving calls every day from customers who probably they are complaining about different things, right? So they would have like customer chat logs, complaint sheets, and these things would contain things that they want to improve for the customers. And especially like for those complaints that were not solved, I have seen before that they have raised them to the product team for them to look as improvements, right? And then they would have other things like customer service FAQ, and those would be a list where they have essentially distilled down to the top questions that people would call in for. And as for marketing side, they would most likely have market data, key markets, and the rationale behind why they have chosen those markets, and as well as market trends, and to see whether they have any thoughts on like these trends, whether they would take off or they would fail. And as well as market sizing, market saturation, a lot of these things, they would probably have those ideas out there already. And competitive analysis, customer satisfaction data, NPS, things like this that they would have on hand. Lastly, the sales team. They are the people who would go out to clients, especially like for B2 B2B, right? They will look for clients and they will visit them. So for these people, they would also have a notebook or some sort where they will record down all the essential things and the key criteria of what the clients are looking for. So now let's take a look at what users are doing online. And this is actually how users make decisions. And usually when they make decisions, they would recognize that they have a need, they would search for it, evaluate the options, then make a decision, and then evaluate it after that. And the same for like other things besides purchase. This also applies to times where users are committing to a product, like if they are subscribing to something, or if they are signing up for a membership, or if they are downloading an app, or if they are consuming content on a website. This is the same as well. So let's talk about that. By searching what the users are searching for and sharing and commenting online, it actually can tell you a lot. So especially when users are thinking about the problem, then they would go and look for answers, right? If you don't know something, you would Google it. So the same way as well, if you go into like Google Trends, that's the first one, it is a place where you can find keywords that people are searching for. Google Trends is derived from a sampling of Google's actual search data. So from this, you can also see like which geographical area would most of those keywords come from, and as well as variations of the keywords that people are searching for. Let's say, for example, if you are looking at latest model of Tesla or like other models of Tesla, then maybe something would come up for that as well. The next one would be Answer the Public. This is a great tool by Neil Patel. It's a great way to visualize the keywords. And so you would have like this circle here where you can look at different ways people are asking questions. That can also tell you a lot. And this tool is free. You have 3 free searches every day. So that's actually something that you can try. It tells you a lot about how people think. The next one would be WordStream. It's a tool that business users, business owners use to help them to optimize their search engine, so SEOs, right, for their websites and ads. So let's say if you want to search for chicken nuggets again, you can put in the keywords and do some filtering in USA, and you can see some of the words that would have the most search volumes, and as well as those that the merchants or the sellers, they are bidding for those keywords. So that's another layer of information that you can use to help yourself. And then find what users are sharing. Basically, they put out a lot of things out there, right? So we can start with app reviews of similar apps. For example, like if people are really angry, they would post about things on the app, right? And also for those who are very happy about the app, they would also put comments. Those are the people who are of the extremes. And as well as social medias like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they also have like lots of content out there, but essentially the comments are very interesting. That's where you can also mine some good things. So one example that I have here is someone random on TikTok sharing about their experience when traveling to China. They have like interesting payment experience over there. And if you notice, traveling to China right now, everything is cashless. So it's a very interesting post where you can understand things about that situation already. Another example is if you join live sessions. So there is one snapshot over here of Xiaohongshu, if you have heard of Xiaohongshu before. It's a Chinese social media app, and basically this cross-border seller is just talking about their experience on setting up businesses and all that, and people are commenting and asking questions about which platform is really good for them and profitable for them. So there is a conversation going, and if you can join those sessions, you can ask questions to them as well. And then Facebook groups is also another place that really tells you a lot. You can mine a lot of insights from there as well. Say, for example, if you are interested in building something for mummies in Singapore, you can go into those big groups on Facebook and look at what they comment. Right? A lot of the users there are really desperate and they are looking for answers because people around them might not have the answers, and people who have the answers, they are very excited to share about that. And if, let's say, for example, if you're looking to build a car pooling platform or something, you can go to SG car group and then see what kind of information they have, like those cars that would depreciate lesser, or what to look out for when they are booking a car or looking to buy a second-hand car. Right, so next, let's understand the markets. Competitive analysis. By looking up competitors' websites, experiencing the products yourself, looking at the published reports that are out there about competitors, these can actually tell you a lot. So through these, you can find out whether there are solutions that are already available on the market, and whether competitors are offering right now, and whether they are efficiently solving the problems today for the users. So there is a popular framework out there that the business strategies, branding, and marketing folks like to use, which is the blue and red ocean strategy, first introduced by Rene Marabogne and Chan Kim in the early 2000s. So basically, a red ocean is where you already have a lot of competitors out there, and there are similar solutions and already solved millions and millions of times, right? Or like a blue ocean would be a market yet to be discovered or have very few competitors. So how can we apply this to our situations? By looking at the market, you can determine whether your product idea is likely to put you in the red ocean or the blue ocean. So say, for example, if your idea is going to make competitors irrelevant, or to revolutionize the market, to bring in a new category growth, or even to bring in a new segment of users, and that's going to be very interesting because that's going to put you in the future. But at the same time, you don't want your product idea to be too far out in the future that there isn't any users who might want to use that, or whether the users don't get how your product can be used at all. So that kind of situation is interesting, and you can use this to help you understand your product idea a lot more. Now, the next part, right, is about user research. Now, I think a lot of people have told me before that they don't like to talk to strangers, but the user research or user interviews is going to be something that is essential for discovery, because it's important for you to step out of the screen and go and listen to your users, to talk to them, and to understand what is going on in their lives. And so there are a lot of research methodologies out there, such as A/B testing that you might be familiar with. And there's like surveys that you can use for confirmatory quantification. There's things like cut sorting, where you can understand the information architecture of how a website can look like, things like that. But essentially, for user interviews, it's something that a lot of people can start off with. And even if you're not perfect on that from the get-go, it's so good and so beneficial for you to just listen to what they say. Yeah, let's just start somewhere, and talk to the users. So now, the intent of this, right, is really to try, and you might be tempted as well, right, to talk to your friends and family and treat them as your users. But let's wait. There's so much resources out there, and let's define first who you should be talking to. So defining the who, which is your target users, the users that you're solving the problem for. For recruitment alone, the initial part, it's going to take a long time to go through all the details, but today I'm going to just share with you the basic aspect of what makes it work. First, you can look at basic demographics, things like country, gender, right? And also product user types. So people who are using certain products. Or if you are looking for like initial adoption, you can look for people who are new users. Or if you're looking for people who have not used certain products for a long time, that would be the lapsed users. Or you can look for current users who are loving a product so much that you can find a reason for that hook to that product. And then after that, you have to look for people who experienced the problems before, because like those are the people who would be able to elaborate on the problem. Because if you find someone who doesn't have that problem, you're not going to get a lot out from them. And then after you get like an initial list of people from the screener, then you can filter the people around like maybe 20 of them, and then essentially schedule them after that for those who can make it. So as I was saying just now, family members might not be your target users, but you can still role play with them and practice, get the jitters out of your system, and then go and talk to your actual users. And other ways where you can get users, if you find that quite hard to start with, then you can try guerrilla research. As the name suggests, it's more like you just randomly go to the streets and go and find people. But honestly, that is something that would take a lot of planning. You have to define your key questions first, your filtering questions, and go out there and grab people's attention. But essentially, it's a free way where you can get at least 30 to 50 people within the day when you go for guerrilla research. Other ways to do it: employee user interviews in your office, or like people from another market. Say if you are looking for Malaysian users, you can go to the Malaysian office to look for your users. And you can tag on to ongoing studies. Say if your designers or researchers are doing research and those users happen to be your users, then you can join them, listen to the interviews, and at the end of it, tap on and say, hey, what do you think about this product idea? And there you can have some responses. The last one would be event outreach or pop-ups. And those are the places where you can get users or leads as well. And for example, if you are looking for B2C customers or B2C users, then you can go to industry trade exhibitions to find these people. And as for how to ask good questions, here is some initial structure that you can look at. So this is a topic that can take a full day workshop and a lot of practice, but we start from somewhere first, right? So instead of asking, like, would you buy this, which is easy to ask, we can think of it differently, framing our questions a little bit different so that we can get to the gist. Because like, according to the book of the behavior of business, there are many variables to influence how users make a decision. There is the subconscious and the conscious associations, and especially the subconscious ones, it's not easy to get that out from face value. So it's not coming out from what they say. You need to kind of like digest and get the insights from there. And so the way you can ask those questions would be, you can frame it in 5W and 1H, like the what, where, when, why, how. And then you can also frame it around like the problem, the people, and the product. So something like the problem would be, if say you are creating something for a shoe platform, so then it's like, what kind of shoes do you wear now? Do you experience any pain, and how do you relieve that pain? And the people. So what do you want from your life if, let's say, the pain has been gone? Then how was your life before the pain started? Then questions about the products would be, what kind of products have you used before? What kind of shoes have you worn before? And what do you like about the shoe that we are wearing today? So questions like that, and asking questions one at a time, and try not to ask leading questions. Another way, right, is to ask this TEDW, T for tell me, take me. E for explain why, explain how. D for describe why and describe how. And W for walk me through. Why this framework? It's because sometimes when you talk to users, and it may become like a one-way street where you just ask questions and they just answer it in a very simple way. So by asking it this way, you can actually encourage the users to tell you more, to tell you the context and the details behind the situation that they are facing. And there you can get much richer insights from there. So here are some examples of that. Okay. And there are also a lot of help out there. You can go and look for user research templates out there. This is from Notion. And if, let's say, you are not sure how to get started, how to plan, you can go there and download some and just look at it and try it out. And then here's an example on the right side of an interview template that you can use and look at the structure to it and revise it for your own use. The other one is from greatquestions.co, which I find quite good as well. There are a lot of templates there that you can use, different use cases and different roles for that. And then if you're not so sure how to come up with questions, then there is this Maze Research Question Bank as well. And of course, the questions there are for inspiration. There are a lot of questions that might not be suitable for your context. So you can just pluck some out and then revise it for your own use. And one more, this is a very controversial one, especially among the researchers, about using AI in our research process. Essentially, if let's say you embrace AI, then ChatGPT is a very good friend for you because it can help you to come up with different kinds of questions, or even help you explore the problem space, come up with possible factors that can help you understand it a little bit more at the initial stage. And then here are some prompts for ChatGPT when you put in, right? You can try it out and just ask them some questions, and you can have like a list of interview questions. But of course, sometimes it is known for being unnatural in asking questions. So make sure that you go through the questions and maybe just get someone, your friend or something, or your researcher friend or designer friend to help you, and then revise the questions together to make sure that it flows naturally. And of course, if you need more help, there is the ADP list, Amazing Design People. This is an online community of amazing people out there beyond just designers, right? There are a lot of researchers, mentors. There are also people from marketing, from engineering side as well. So if you're looking for someone to help you with research, you can find people there, schedule some time with them. Or if you want to look for other mentors for other things like the market, the competitive analysis just now, you can look for marketing people there. Now, this is the last part about like turning data into actions. So for concept testing, again, like you may be tempted to go and build something at the very beginning, but it is actually more at the end where you have already understood your users enough, you know what problem to solve, and you can go and solve it and create something for that and test it out. Now, essentially, you want to find insights to help you see if your product idea is worth pursuing and how does that actually fit for your users. Now, concept testing is one of the research methodology to help you gauge the level of acceptance and initial willingness to try and purchase. So, if let's say you are building a new feature, for example, then it's about whether that feature fits into your product and whether your users can perceive that from there. And in other words, concept testing can tell you this. Is this something that my users would use? Would my users actually see the value of using this? And how does it fit into their mental model? So let's see, there are some steps to it. Step 1, which is to present them with a user scenario. So for example, if you are coming up with a travel platform, then it's about like, can you please show me how you would go about booking your flights, assuming that you are about to fly tomorrow. Present them with that and then let your users try it out. You can actually get some stimuli like textual concepts. It can be in the form of sketches as well. It can be in a wireframe or a low to mid fidelity prototype. Essentially, this concept testing is more about whether your users get it or not. It's not so much about the user experience of how your users use it. So even if your concept is not in high fidelity, that's okay. It's just to see if they get the initial concept or not. And then based on the user's responses, then you can kind of know whether the direction that you're going for makes sense and whether you should pursue it further or whether you should be looking for new users apart from those that you have talked to. Or whether you should just like keep on iterating on the current one. Now, so there you have it, 5 things that you can do very quickly to see whether your ideas are worth pursuing or not. And lastly, say if it's not a product idea, again, for features as well, you can use it too. And let's say lastly, if you have done a lot of these already and you are confident enough, you can then do subsequent steps such as usability tests to keep on iterating and improving your prototype. So that's the end of my sharing today. And here are some helpful resources that you can look for. Some of my favorite research books are out there, and some of the websites over here that you can look for. And lastly, this is my LinkedIn, if you are interested to connect with me. And usually on LinkedIn, I would share things like how to communicate UX in Mandarin. All right, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for listening to me.